All right, Homesteader family, welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. Another week's gone by. You can see I got some Christmas lights up there in the corner. I actually decorated. Move my tree over here. You can see the fire going in the wood stove. All the dogs are over on the couches sleeping, being lazy dogs. And I kind of seeped into that winter vibe with the dogs and been lazy. So for those of you that think I always get so much accomplished and I always do so much, unfortunately, that wasn't the case this week. So the house in Marshall did not get taken care of. The yard here did not get mowed. The fencing did not get put up. The only motivation I had this week was feed the animals and haul several loads of water over there to maintain the animals so they're fed, watered, hayed, so on and so forth. Besides that, I've been right over there on the couch, sleeping, relaxing, recuperating, taking it easy. And now, like I said, with the wood stove going, we've got colder temperatures coming in. I actually got this hoodie on because I went and checked the mailbox because I didn't check the mailbox all week. And I'm actually hot now that I'm drinking coffee because it's nice and toasty in here with the wood stove. So, for those of you that think you always have to get so much done, and you look at what I do and how much I get done, and you say, oh, I can't do that all the time. I can only do a little bit. Like I said a couple of videos ago, step by step, every step you take is one less thing you have to do later, one less step you have to take later. Or if you stay on the same step, like I did this whole week, nothing got done. So I'm not moving any farther forward. I'm not taking the next step towards my goal because I was lazy, because I was a couch potato. But that's life in the life of a homesteader. So this upcoming week, not sure what I'm going to do. Tuesday, we have a low of 19. Monday, I think, is a low of 24. Wednesday is a low of 26. So a bunch of bitter cold days. So it depends on how motivated I am, what I feel like doing. But I do want to try to get something done this week. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I'm excited to see tomorrow. I will be going over tomorrow to feed the animals. I did not feed them today, so they went one day without feeding. We all know how fat they are, so they'll be fine one day without feeding. I went over yesterday in the rain. I wasn't going over again today in the rain, although it's not raining anymore. But just lazy. The couch is nice. The wood heat is nice. Just didn't want to leave the house. So when I go over tomorrow, I'm excited to see the ponds that I had dug by the excavator guy. So we'll find out if they're filled with water. I'm going to do some shorts probably tomorrow when I'm over there. So that will give you guys a little bit of content. And I'm sure I'm going to get the question about the excavation video. Nope. I was lazy yet again. So another week I didn't edit videos or even dabble in any of that. I just watched TV shows, movies, slept. I actually just woke up 2 hours ago. So that's the nice part, you know, when you have a nice cozy place with the wood stove going, just throw something on television, close your eyes, lay down, and just recoup. Gain that energy for fence days, gain that energy for other days, or just be a couch potato. We all got to do it. Now, if you get into the habit of doing it, then you start to lose that purpose. And then the farther you go, you know, if you do it for weeks and months at a time, then that's when depression sets in, that I've talked about before, and you don't want it to get that bad. So taking a week here, a week there is fine. You just got to get motivated. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be over there. I'm going to make some short videos, feed the animals, maybe do a little something tomorrow. Depends on what everything looks like. And we'll go from there. And then I'll start planning on what I'm going to do this upcoming week and see exactly what I want to do. So that's all I have for the content for this past week on what I've done, because I haven't done nothing. This upcoming week, I don't know what I'm doing and don't have any plans. But we'll go with the title of the video, and that is This Alien's Conspiracy Theories. I know I've only put theory, but I'm going to throw a couple different theories out there on just random stuff. We all know I don't get into a bunch of political videos or world event videos and stuff like that like other channels. But I figured I don't really have much to go over, so why not throw out a couple of my ideas, because I know a lot of you ask me in emails and messages and stuff like that on my different thoughts on different things, what I would do, what I think, so on and so forth. So we're diving into this brain of mine, this intergalactic computing device, and go over some things. So one of my big things I've talked about on my channel for a long time is the fact I'm an alien. So there we go. There's, one of the big conspiracy theories in my mind that people don't believe, but I do. And I've talked about in other videos that I believe at one point, because everybody asks if I'm the religious person, which I've gone over, I'm not. How everything got started, I have no idea. Where we came from, I have no idea. However, I do believe we lived on Mars at some point in the distant past, and we had the knowledge of space and travel and all that type of stuff, and came here because we destroyed Mars. Whether that's true or not, who knows? Yep, intergalactic couch rider. And I'm going to have my boomer here next to me on the couch at some point. I'll have the dogs outside. But to the Mars thing, if you think about it, if you go down the rabbit holes of conspiracy theories and all that type of stuff, you can go into all different crazy stuff. Like the earth is flat, or the earth is round, or there's reptilian people underground. My thought is we're probably taught and showed both the past, the present, and the future. What I mean by that is we watch different movies, and there's one really important one out there called the Lorax. It's by Dr. Seuss. And if you look in the Lorax, they had all the trees, all the animals, fresh water, clean air, and then it's destroyed. And when you see he goes to hear the story, and he goes out to the guy's house outside of the walls, if you watch the newer Lorax from the early 2000s, he goes out and it's just like a reddish brown ground with no air or anything around. So I kind of think, my thoughts that we came from Mars is that was the Lorax. We were on Mars, we destroyed the planet, and it turned into that reddish brown planet that you see up there today. Look at another movie. Another one of my favorites, Avatar. If you look at Avatar and everybody say, oh, I wish the planet was like that. I kind of think this planet was like that at one point in time. I say that because I remember when I was a little kid, we have some here in Arkansas, but nothing like what I used to see as a kid. Fireflies. Fireflies lit up the sky, lit up the woods, lit up the night back in the day when I was a little kid growing up. When I got my captain license when I was in my teenager years, and we went out on the boat, I remember getting far enough off the coast where it was pitch black, and you could take an oar or a paddle or a net and go like this behind the boat, or turn the propeller on because it was a propeller / sailboat. So when the propellers were going, you had a glowing stream behind the boat. Or like I said, you could smack the water with the paddle, and that was the jellyfish. The jellyfish would glow. And if you think about it in the long term, if we came from Mars, and if that was the case of the Lorax, Look at the case of what we're doing to this planet. We have so much light pollution. We took away all the lights, all the natural light, the lightning bugs, all the different plants and things like that that have the iridescent and ultraviolet and all the different types of glowing mechanisms inside of them. And it's not like Avatar anymore. You look at, they say every 20 years, I always say, like my great grandfather says, past 90% bad, or change to 90% bad, 10% good. And if you look at the changes are also like the past. The past repeats itself. And you look at every 20 to 40 to 50 years, somewhere in there, the story gets changed for all of us. We all have heard, let's go with the basic conspiracy theory first, before we get a little bit deeper. And that is, butter is bad for you. Now butter is good for you. Chocolate was bad for you. Now chocolate can be good for you. Red wine was bad for you. Now red wine is good for you. These things constantly flip. They're good for so long, and then they're bad for so long, and it flips. Then we can go a little bit farther down the rabbit hole on the conspiracies and say, look, for all those years, they wanted to go digital because we wanted to save the trees. We wanted to stop using paper. And right now, they're starting new ads of using paper because plastic and technology is bad for us. Same thing with the ice age was for so long, now it's the global warming. And it just goes back and forth, back and forth. Just like they say, mining coal is really bad for the planet, which I agree, because if you look at Avatar, as soon as you start destroying habitats, you're destroying the planet. You're starting the destruction. But then you can go and mine cobalt and nickel and lithium and all this for technology that's supposed to be better. So we destroy ecosystem for coal, or we destroy ecosystem for lithium, batteries, and everything else. So these are the just different things that click in my head that it's like it just doesn't make sense. There's greed, there's selfishness, there's, can't think of the word right now, but where they say do this and they do that. It's just nothing seems to ever work. And then going back to movies, look at, like I said, with the Lorax or Avatar, I think they show what could happen. And if you look at the Red Dawn, the remake in the 2000s, I don't remember exactly the situation in the remake of the Red Dawn. However, seeing what is happening and seeing and knowing how they show everything, we're sending troops to Europe, we're sending troops to the Middle East, we're sending troops everywhere. And in Red Dawn, attack happened on the homeland here, and there weren't troops to get involved because they used the EMP and communications went down. And you would think the military would have responded a lot quicker. But as I see everything happening around the world with all the different wars and how we're sending our troops out of our country, away from our homeland, away from our shores, where it takes a long time for them to get back, that kind of makes me start thinking another conspiracy theory that maybe Red Dawn, the remake, is showing. China's got the largest Navy now. Russia's got a bunch of stuff going. They're all closer to the homeland than the Middle East, where all of our troops are going Middle East. So they're in between our troops and our country. And how simple it could be with the new technology and EMP, where Boeing, I believe it was either Boeing or Lockheed Martin. You can Google where they EMP'd a building out of a plane, and you can see just the lights in that building go out. A lot of people don't see that type of stuff because they don't look for it. But that could kill communication. And then how long does it take for the troops to come from Middle East back towards Russia and then all the way to us? And that gave such a big leeway. So these are just all different things that popped in my head. And we all know, as an alien, I think of a million different things. My mind never shuts down. I could talk about a million things in the world, such as like the moon. I like to mess with people when they say, "Oh, you don't believe we landed on the moon?" And I'm like, "Well, you're crazy. You believe there's a moon." Who knows? You never know. Not that I don't believe there's a moon. I have no idea. There's no way to test it. But my thought is on the whole space exploration thing is we're trying to get back to Mars. And we had the technology in the 60s and 70s and 80s to go out to the moon. But yet we've never gone back. We've never tried to go any farther. And yet the most rich people on this planet, Bezos, whatever his name is, Elon Musk and all this, you're telling me with all the money, all the technology, all the higher computing power, that they wouldn't have a hotel on the moon if that was possible already to make even more money. Because we know the greed always needs more money. So do I believe we've gone into space? I believe in the past time. Do I believe the whole astronaut thing? I'm not 100% sold on it because, like I said, you got the richest people in the world. They do anything they can to make money. A vacation on Mars brings in a lot of money. Just like the so-called space station hotel that they're working on designing by 2035 or something like that. So, and that's not even getting to the moon. And like I said, the technology we had back then is nothing compared to the technology today, like on the cell phone that I'm filming from now. And then you can branch off all other ways and say, well, if we came from Mars, like I think, then why don't we have that technology? And that's the same reason on the education system. We could have possibly had the spaceships. We could have had interstellar commuting and all that type of stuff. And we lost that technology. Just like you look back in history of whoever invented helicopters and stuff 300 years prior to us finding the technology again because the manuscripts got lost. Same thing from the Roman Empire for 200 or 300 years or something like that. We lost on how to make bronze or brass or something like that because we lost the technology of the smelting process. If you think about it going all the way back, how much information do we really have? A lot of the information gets taken away. A lot of the information gets hidden from us. Look at Egypt with the pyramids and other pyramids around the world because everybody thinks there's only the one sets of pyramids in Egypt, and there are actually pyramids all around the world. There's pyramids in the Antarctic, and they've even found pyramids on Mars. Where's that technology? Where's that information? It's hidden. When they went into a lot of the tombs in Egypt, a lot of that is hidden in museums, and we don't see the things. You can also watch one of my favorite TV shows back in the day. It sucks now because it's just they replay the stuff from all these years to just keep making the money, which is Ancient Aliens. And they talk about different things that people have got photos of, and did studies on that got taken away and disappeared. Different old hammers, they're saying millions of years old. Metal discs that were like computer discs, had information on them. There's different metal pieces that were tooled and drilled that they think was a foot for a spaceship or something, that the metal is not from this planet. All these different things that just get hidden away. Just like back in the 90s when I heard about different giants and skeletons they found. Well, now there's none of the giant skeletons. They've all been hidden in museums and stuff like that. What we know is only what everybody in the ruling class want us to know. That can be another conspiracy theory because some people don't believe that. But like aliens, the government denied it for all these generations, and now they're talking about it. There's stuff the government knows, the ruling class, whatever you want to call it, the elite, the super wealthy, the privileged. It just goes on. You can come up with a million different names for them. If they want us to know it, we know it. If they don't want us to know it, we don't know it. But in my mind, the conspiracy side of my mind is they show bits like the Lorax, like Avatar, like all these different movies out there of things that are to come, things that will happen. Just like you look at The Simpsons, a lot of people base and say The Simpsons is a big conspiracy theory, and they're showing you what's going to happen. But I don't know if The Simpsons is like showing you what's going to happen. I think it's like, okay, the Simpsons say this lemon, they put this lemon in a cartoon video in the 90s. And then in the year 2000, instead of putting an apple here, they put a lemon here in 2000. And people are like, oh my gosh, there's a lemon in the year 2000 that The Simpsons showed back in the 1990s. Same thing with the whole president coming down the escalator and the vice president with pearls and the purple dress and all that type of stuff. Yes, The Simpsons show it. And I think what they do, being smarter, being of that higher intelligent because they have more access to stuff, they just play that line. So you see The Simpsons and you say, hey, I'm going to do what The Simpsons said in this episode all these years ago and match it completely, which they do. And then people are like, oh my gosh, The Simpsons predicted it. You can go online, Google Simpsons predict things, and it will show a million different things because all the different cartoons show exactly what's happening. I think it's more either they put it in The Simpsons to show you, like I'm saying with the Red Dawn, all our troops are overseas. EMP's possible now. It could kill our communications. Our troops can't come back as quick. And there could be something. Just like The Simpsons, they could say, this is going to happen. Show it on the cartoon, and 10 years later, then they allow it to happen. So these are just different things in my head. Different conspiracy theories. We all can have our own thoughts, our own opinions. We don't have to argue over stuff. We don't have to do what society does now. We can be community like we used to be. And I truly think for those of you wanting to homestead and those of you that are homesteading or farmers or ranchers, we are the ones that are preserving what is left of this planet without it being destroyed. Because if it wasn't for homesteaders that want to build gardens and put in trees and have plant life and not just a rock yard that you don't have to mow or water or anything like that, and it rains and all the nutrients just go right off the top of the rocks and the soil, where grassroots, the water goes down into the earth. It provides nutrients. It provides a life force, just like Avatar, just like the Amazon jungle. The more life force, the more plants, the more animals, the more nature, the healthier the land is where that is. If not, then look at San Francisco, look at New York City, look at Miami, look at all these different cities and tell me that's healthy. It's not. Do I agree with all the wind turbines and the whole green agenda? I do not. Why? For those of you that do believe in the whole green agenda and solar and windmills and all that, lithium batteries. You don't want people to excavate coal to run coal plants which damage the planets, but you want to excavate and mine lithium, which damages the planet. You don't want gas and oil used in vehicles because you want your electric vehicles, but your new vehicles are like 40, 50, 60% plastic, which comes from oil. You want windmills because you don't want gas engines, but you use hydraulic oils and all that stuff in the windmills that have to be changed all the time. So no matter what it is, in another 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we're going to go from the green agenda back to the gas and the coal agenda and the nuclear agenda, just like electric cars were back in the early 1900s. Just like batteries were used way back going to ancient Egypt. It's just the cycle of change and going back. The history repeats, history repeats, history repeats. It just goes down the line. So, just different thoughts out there. Do with it what you will. But I remember a time growing up when people didn't talk politics. They weren't on social media 24 hours a day. They didn't throw friendships away over the stupidest things. When people actually communicated, where you had a problem with somebody, you talk to that person. You don't just let it build up and not talk to them again. Block them on Facebook, block them on Instagram, block them on whatever other social medias are now, where you tell their family they're horrible people, or go to social media and tell people are horrible people. It just spurs drama, and drama just continues. Why people like that is beyond me. I've dealt with it a bunch. I've talked about it on my channel sometimes. I don't do it a lot because I don't like the drama aspect. Just like a lot of these YouTube channels, that's how they hook a lot of people. They keep the drama going. But we need to get back to the homesteading, the farming, the ranching. We need to get back to communities. We need to get back to taking care of this planet, not in a green way, the woke agenda, the green agenda. We need to do it where we're taking care of not just the planet, but us. If we kill this planet, it's going to be like Mars. It's not going to be able to sustain us. As of right now, I don't know any planet that we're going to next. I know they want to go back to Mars, but Mars isn't ready yet. Mars does not have green forests. Mars does not have all the oxygen and water, food sources. Let alone, do you really want to get in a so-called professional spaceship like the professional submarine that went to the Titanic and travel all them years into space where there's no air, no food, no solid ground, and a million things that can go wrong like they've showed us in sci-fi videos? I'd rather take care of this planet. I'd rather homestead this planet. I'd rather build brush pile fencing to give homes to groundhogs and rabbits and squirrels and mice and snakes and insects and lightning bugs to lighten up the woods where I don't need artificial lighting, where those bugs break down the wood and plant life and create soils, and the soils create vegetables, and vegetables feed me and feed the animals. And that circle of life that we learned back in the 90s with the Lion King. You break any part of that cycle, this planet goes the wrong way. Look at Avatar. If you save it, it stays beautiful. You don't save it, then it's nothing but another city moving in. More concrete moving in. More asphalt moving in. Less nature staying around. So with that, hope everybody has a maybe productive week. I might have a productive week. I don't know. But hopefully you're productive somehow, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, Whether you take that next step or sit on that platform for another week, try to get something done. If you're thinking about homesteading, I highly encourage it. If you want to farm, garden, ranch, I highly encourage it. But look at natural ways. Look at hugelkultur and back to Eden and all the different ways to bring more life to this planet and try to keep more animals from going extinct, since we love to do that as well. So with that, I hope everybody has a great upcoming week. I should have some shorts tomorrow. I'm not going to guarantee it. Thank you, DT. I appreciate it. Good luck to you as well. And I will try to edit videos when I get an opportunity. And then, like I said, hopefully with the weather cooling down now, we are going to get back up in the mid 70s coming up. But we're starting to get cool enough now that I can actually start doing fencing and do work that I'm not going to kill myself with the heat, and start making progress. So with that, remember, like always, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. And I'll see you guys on next video. Thank you, guys.